Hey everyone, welcome back to Until You Make It. My name's Chris. Sitting next to me, as always, Michael Yadvish. And our guest for the day, Miss Abi Toads.
Hello, it is I, Abi of Toads.
I was like, I thought you were going to say something else.
You were looking at me, so I'm like, of Toads.
Abi is a wonderful, wonderful artist who has, over the last year or so, I guess you could say, grown quite a following for her wonderful Mushling, what would you call them? Creations.
Yeah, little creatures, I guess. They're little fungi creatures.
Yes.
Yeah, Abby has been a good friend of ours ever since I followed her home that one day and banged on her window. And
Pretending to be a werewolf, like.
Yeah, I was trying to get into her house, pretending to be a werewolf. And ever since then, we became best friends.
Yeah, it's just how it goes.
Well, Mike does have a famous werewolf impression.
He did do it the first night I met him.
That is true.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were playing one night, and he transformed before my eyes.
It's a game where you're hunting whoever is the werewolf. So I thought it's a good idea that if you always pretend to be a werewolf every single round, then like you just keep doing this. Genius. No one will know if you're lying or not.
Well, I got to give credit to Abby because I don't know if I would have kept hanging out with Mike if I saw his werewolf impression.
That's when I knew that like we'd get along.
The first time I hung out with Jackie was at the beach house, and I did my dinosaur impression.
Do your best impression of a dinosaur.
Those barks were incredible.
Abby, maybe introduce yourself or kind of what you do, and then we'll kind of dive into how that got started.
Okay, so I'm Abi Toads on the internet, and I basically just draw a lot of things that are in nature, mostly mushrooms. Zero aware if you've heard of the mushlings. That's kind of what I do. I mean, I draw every day. I started selling on Etsy back in June last year. And it quickly it went from posting my art online, seeing if I get like any kind of following, to being my full-time job, which is just crazy.
Yeah, that's the craziest part.
Yeah, you've always kind of been an artist, you'd say, right? So,
yeah, I mean, like I always liked drawing, and I loved it growing up. Like I would make like children like little booklets. My mom kept like all my books from when I was little of the random stories about like superhero kangaroos or frogs or whatever. And she has like almost all the drawings I ever did.
That's back when you did the good stuff.
The good stuff before I sold out.
You sold out. Now Abby Toads is just a cash grab. Back when she did superhero kangaroos, that was the good stuff.
That was the good old days.
I need to go back to those.
You need to go back to superhero kangaroos.
But I never really thought I could like. I was always kind of intimidated to go into like a field like that because like you hear like there's so much competition, and I'm like, is that even like a stable career? Maybe I should study something else. And like, thankfully, I also liked math, and I mean, I like a lot of stuff. So I was like, I'll go to school for math. That seems like a safe bet. And it was. But then when I started posting my art online, and it turned into like something, it had the potential to turn into something more. I'm like, I have to go for it.
Right. And this is something you hear a lot too. I mean, I think everyone has both the thought and kind of almost their parents telling them too of like, I wanted to be a musician when I was in middle school or whatever. I was going to go for that and do that. But then basically society tells you there's no money in that. Yeah. You shouldn't do it. That should be your, you can have it in your life, but it's going to be tough to succeed at. Yeah,
it's such a generational thing, what you were saying, like your parents telling you or just viewing these things as a hobby, which is probably what a lot of them did. Because even my mom, being an artist, and went to school for art and fashion and stuff. And she worked at a job for it, but never really had the opportunity to like be an entrepreneur with it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, obviously the tools are different now, what we have to use and the kind of audience you can reach and who can actually see your artwork is way different now than it was in like the 80s and 90s. So it's weird. I don't even know, like, how do you even be an artist in the 80s and 90s before the internet existed?
It's just like art shows. And I think that's more about like why they're always like, well, you need a connection to get big. But it's like, if you're posting out there, someone's way more likely to see it. But back then, if you didn't have that connection to go into like museums or become like an artist painting your own stuff, it's a lot harder, because how are you going to even connect with them in the first place?
Yeah, the sheer volume has like increased exponentially because of the internet, which leads us to what happened to your little company now, almost, right?
Yeah.
Like a brand, a full brand. So tell us the full story of you. This is over COVID, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I was working at a pharmaceutical company, like doing just like coding and stats stuff, and I had a lot of free time because it was work from home, and so I started like drawing more, and I was like, I'll post it online, and maybe I can like start just a little story, because like my original idea was to have a story about Mort the toad and a little moth, and they're going on, yes, Mort the toad.
Mike is wearing the Abi Toads swag as we speak.
It's an original piece.
I wanted to do a children's book about their adventures, I guess, through like a garden, because like when I grew up, I spent a lot of the time just like sitting in my garden trying to find toads and salamanders or whatever, and I kind of wanted to just bring back that like show that like magical feeling through like a children's book. And I started posting on Reddit, and like the art, like the drawings got like thousands of likes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, because I think Reddit is a good place to start out posting your art, because it's not so reliant on an algorithm. Like people can sort by new, and if people like it, they'll upvote it, and then it gets on like the hot page and get even more likes. So like once I started doing that, I was like way more motivated to keep drawing, because all the people were like, you can make a book out of this. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So I was doing that, and then I made a drawing I painted the mushroom dragon with all the little mushlings around it, and people were like, those little mushrooms are so cute. And then I kind of had, from there, it kind of like snowballed into maybe I should make like them more detailed and make like a identification poster. Because like a lot of the drawings I started out doing, it was stuff that I wanted to have like in my house. Like, so like the mushroom dragon, I'm like, that would be a cool thing to put on a wall. And then I was like, oh, I can make the identification poster to go along with it, because it's like zooming in on the little guys in that painting. And from there, I mean, the two, I first started with like the blusher and the chanterelle.
We should put these up on.
I was
right?
thinking that.
No, it would be really cool, right?
Yeah. I started with those two, and they got like, I think like 10,000 likes on Reddit. And so I like I had my Instagram going, and from the Reddit people, like they kind of came over to Instagram to get that like initial, I guess, boost of followers. And once you kind of like start getting like more and more on Instagram, it's kind of easier to acquire, as long as you just keep not pumping out content, but like
it's a little bit of a snowball effect. Like there's already people there.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, how did it feel initially to have just like
100? I mean, getting 100, I'm like, this is the coolest thing. I mean, like my goal when I started the Instagram and like to make the book, I'm like, if I get 1,000 followers in a year, that would be like, I made it as an artist. Like I should keep doing this. And then I got 1,000 in a couple months, and I'm like, I'm just crazy.
The cool thing I think that Abby does, and I think she still does it to this day, is like everything that she has drawn or came up with or that she sells are all things that she just thinks would be good, that she wants. Like, I want that. I want, I would like some socks. I want sweatshirts, or I want t-shirts. So it's,
I want a plushie. Like,
I want a plushie. So it's all things that are very personal to Abby, that she wants in her own home, in her own life, that she wants to wear, that she wants to whatever, or even tattoo on her, whatever, and I think that's another key ingredient that why maybe people connect with her art or connect with her as an artist, is that she is so much a part of her art, and she's not just selling the stuff. She's not just saying like, I want to sell socks because I think that's going to make me a couple $1,000s. She wants to, I want to wear a pair of socks.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to work with the manufacturers. How much do I need to sell to make this so I can get a pair? She doesn't even care. Like,
let's go for it.
Yeah, let's go for it. So I think that's really cool, because it makes it more personal, and makes it, everything that she makes is like, that her heart was in it, that she wants it.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the dream for like a lot of artists, and a lot of people do strive to do that. I think I'm just lucky that people also think the mushlings are cute, because like I would want to keep drawing them, but I imagine like it would get discouraging, I think, if I kept doing it and like it didn't get any attention. But I think it's like really important to just keep trying, because you'll eventually find your audience, and it's like so much more rewarding to draw what you want and like be happy rather than worry about like what the public wants to see.
Yeah, so this kind of reminds me of when we were talking about. That's right. I think you were a Joel Haver fan as well, right?
I'm very, very big.
So good. But it kind of reminds me of his story. He was saying kind of the same thing of like the audience is out there. It's just on you to be, consistent enough and motivated enough to eventually have people find you. And that's what it is. Is people finding you through the internet. Regardless of how much publicity you yourself do or try and put out there. So it's kind of that same old story of the people are out there. It's just a matter of time.
I also love that, like, I love making fan art, and like the Koroks did really, really good with the little like the tree versions that I did of the Koroks, and I think that's why I got another big boost of followers from there. But now, like, if I post something that isn't a Mushling related, like it gets less likes, where it's usually like fan art does better. But for me, it's like people just like my followers just like follow me for the Mushlings, and
That's
like
so
you guys
funny.
are so cool. Like I think they're all so amazing.
What was your main platform? Just Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram, and like I get like I started on Reddit, but I don't really post it there as much anymore. Because I mean the subreddit for art you can only post every other day anyway. But like I'll sometimes post there if it's like a bigger piece. But definitely Instagram now is the bigger thing.
Yeah, that's rad.
Yeah.
Have you been doing TikTok stuff as well?
Yeah,
Instagram,
occasionally.
62,000 followers. TikTok, 16,000 followers. Etsy, 3,300 sales with 972 reviews.
Amazing.
Did you
did your
memorize
homework.
that before you came
Yeah.
on? I thought you were reading
I
something.
brought a sticker for you.
Damn. So what I'm hearing is you're basically like the publicity guy for.
Bye, Abi Toads. Bye, Abi Toads.
Yeah.
Bye.
Your dad's always very on top of knowing like the numbers too. Like he's always like, "Oh, you hit this like this many sales."
He does that with our movies too.
Uh-huh.
He watches he goes on and checks the view count, checks the comments, see what the new comments are, or he'll text me like, "Did you see what this guy said?" or so he does that with Abi Toads too. He'll like check the numbers and check. He always checks. I guess he clicks on the link tree.
Yeah.
My dad literally signed up on Instagram just so he can follow Abi Toads and track her progress.
There you go.
See what she posts.
Yeah, we're all rooting for you.
Oh, thank you.
One thing you said that you're not a like either classically trained artist or you didn't go to art school or anything like that. I was curious to ask you because Chris just put out a video recently about videos that you should watch if you get into video production. Yeah. So if you're a video production person, these are some videos that Chris thinks are like some staple videos that you should kind of know about and be aware of, and they're from a bunch of different creators and stuff. So I was curious to know like what kind of resources did you pull from? Do you still pull from resources like that, educational stuff? Or what kind of people do you follow? Or what kind of things do you watch? And as far as like the point of it being like for someone who is trying to get into digital art and stuff and like,
well, actually one of the first things of digital art, I definitely can say like Patrick McHale, I think is the lead artist for Over the Garden Wall. And, or it's either him or just, I think, I forget the name, which is bad, but one of the artists put out a video on his YouTube channel of like how he did the background for like one of the scenes in Over the Garden Wall, which is like, and they're all like really pretty because they wanted it to feel like a classic Disney movie. And I'm like, I want to start animating, so maybe I should go off of one of my favorite animated things I've ever seen. So I watched like how he did the digital, like how he drew like the trees and like how it's almost like a painting, and I tried to like mimic that with my first animation. Like I basically just followed along with the video and like has kind of like an ode to the show. And like that helped a lot. And I was like finding like brush packs from other artists. Like I used to like draw like every blade of grass individually, but then like you see what other artists do and how they have brushes that just kind of do it very easily. So like I feel like digital art, there's so much potential, and it might take you a while to like get there, but there's kind of a lot of shortcuts that you learn along the way. And like now I think I might like it more than traditional art.
Right.
but I basically just like follow a lot of artists, and I kind of it helps when they have like process videos, like seeing how they use their markers or how they do the watercolor. I kind of learned techniques from that and made it my own, I guess.
I was just rewatching the old clips of the show, Mike, where we were talking about how we can't draw. And remember, I said we should do
Is that a storyboarding episode?
Yeah. I was saying we should do a competition to see who would do a worse drawing of like a scene from a movie or something. I still think we should do that. It would be really bad.
That'd be really funny.
Like literally draw a shot from like Star Wars or something, and it would be like shitty stick figures.
Well, that would be if it was from. Swords. That would be too easy. Not too easy.
Too easy.
No. To copy something.
I'm just saying something iconic. No. We have to do it like in front of each other, like right now.
Yeah, no, but even iconic would be. It's got to be something, because what I struggle with is like coming from your own head to get the idea across. Because like, what the hell is that?
That's why it would be funny.
I've seen like trends of like drawing Pokemon from memory, and like I love it's so funny.
Oh, from memory, yeah. That's funny.
We should do that right now.
Yeah. Without looking at the reference.
Yeah, we should all try and draw a Pikachu.
Oh, I would be really good at it.
I know, that's what would be funny about it.
Yeah, that'd be really funny.
Like, we'd probably suck at it. All right, maybe if we have time at the end, that'll be our game.
That'd be fun.
That would be a fun game to do.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if we remember that.
I just played through RCS, so it's like fresh in my mind.
Oh, how'd you like it?
It was great. It was amazing.
I can't believe they're still making Pokemon games.
I know.
They just had a trailer for the new one.
No, I thought the other one just came out.
It did.
They're putting like almost 3 games out, and like in a year, I think it will be 3 games because like Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl came out like in December, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like November, December.
So then if they come out with another game in November, that's 3 Pokemon games in 1 year. Like,
too many.
It's pretty crazy. Speaking of Pokemon, because Abby, you're saying not your backstory, I guess, but sort of like your origin of how you got started drawing, or kind of what you were trying to capture with the toads and stuff. It reminds me of how I forget the artist who created Pokemon.
Ken Sugimori? Is he the?
Sure.
I mean, he's the original artist for like for Pokemon.
Or the guy who created Pokemon.
I don't know the guy who made Pokemon. No, Miyazaki's the
no
Ghibli.
Oh, geez. Edit this part out.
What's your question again?
My question was, what are your inspirations for your art?
Oh, man. Well, I did actually, Pokemon is a huge thing. I mean, when I was little, I wanted to be like a Pokemon field researcher. Also, why Legends Arceus is like one of my dream games. But I'm like, I want to go out, find Pokemon, find new types of animals. This is when I believed Pokemon were real, which is like, well, I was like 16, but
last year.
Yeah.
What do you mean believe that they were? They are.
You're right. Okay, it's okay, Michael. But I would make my own Pokemon cards and like draw my own Pokemon.
Mike is freaking out right now that Pokemon are not actually real. You just shattered his whole worldview.
But I remember like sitting on my deck with like Aaron and Sean, all the Hackett family, and we'd draw like we'd make our own Pokemon cards and then tape it over like the energy cards that come in a deck, because like we're not using the energy cards.
That?
No one needs that.
No one plays the games.
Yeah. So I have like a bunch of like original Pokemon cards from Abi Toads originals.
It'd be hilarious if you, because you've seen like how Pokemon cards are being sold, like the original ones are being sold for so much money. It'd be so funny.
I have a distinct memory of us selling a huge book at a garage sale
for like $5 probably.
Yep,
right? Yeah,
a long time ago. Me and my sister had a bunch. Everyone's got that story, you know.
It'd be so funny if you said, "Oh yeah, we slapped on our own drawings onto like first edition like cars horses."
Oh my god.
For $50,000 or something.
Put scotch tape over it to like tape the paper on. But yeah, Pokemon is definitely like a big inspiration, because I always thought it was cool to like discover creatures, and now I'm doing that with like different types of mushrooms, like different mushlings. Like,
yeah, well, right. It's like you're almost making your own creatures now. You have all your own characters. This is like the exact same idea.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know?
Like,
but like literally you. It's wild, man.
Now, when you were
gonna make cards?
I would love to make like a tarot deck.
That would be so fun. Yeah,
it's a lot of work. So maybe once I finish like the art for like Mycelium.
Even playing card decks, I'd buy that.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
While we're still on Pokemon, I was just remembering all all the stories that came out on the news when Pokemon Go came out a couple years ago. I distinctly remember, but you guys probably heard of this too, about the I don't know how old they were. I think they were kids that stumbled upon like a dead body or something while looking for a Pokemon. And like that was the whole story, is like Pokemon Go like murder case.
Oh my gosh.
Because that's how they came upon the oh yeah. And like, you know, kids climbing fences and like doing all kinds of illegal shit.
I mean, me and Eric did that. Not the illegal stuff.
Right, okay.
But we did we played that hardcore. We would go for walks around Indian fields, like the town, not the town over, the community over. We would go walk around and like late at night we'd walk all the way down to the YMCA and back.
Other people walking around like swiping on their phone or like throwing the Pokeball. They're swiping up like as they're walking, and we're like, it's like 2 a.m. in the middle of like a neighborhood, and you're like, they're playing Pokemon.
Actually,
like,
me and Eric, we did get stopped by we did get talked to by the cops because we were driving around at night doing gym battles. And we had our neighbor James at the time, I think he was like 15. And the cop, we were trying to explain to the cop that we're playing Pokemon on our phones and that this is a gym and that we're not trespassing. And he was coincidentally there for something else. He wasn't there for us. He was there because there was 2 people trespassing.
Whoa.
And he was trying to find those people to get them out. And he thought that they were with
just
us.
Playing Pokemon, I swear.
He thought the 2 people they were with us, like we were sitting there waiting for them or whatever. He was a jerk because he kept asking James. He kept like bullying James because he was the youngest there. He made James call his parents to tell his parents where he is. It was so bizarre. He eventually just let us go, but he was a jerk. That Pokemon almost got us in trouble.
My
story.
Oh, go ahead.
My brother was telling me about, because my brother and his friends recently like got back into Pokemon Go, and one of his friends has a restraining order against a guy because the guy is so obsessed with like maintaining power of a certain gym like in the neighborhood, and like so like they're both like really really high levels in Pokemon Go, like one of they're either like, I don't know if there's a max level, but they're like near the top. And they like will drive to the gym, and the guy he got a restraining order against will like drive near them and just glare at them the whole time. And like it's just like,
are you kidding me, man?
The one time he like approached the car and was banging on their window. Like it's just like, it's crazy. Like I don't know.
This is my gym.
I almost feel bad.
It's just a game, man. Not to me.
Get out of here, kids.
It's like flashes a gun.
This is all I have.
That would go on the that's all I have. This is the last thing. I will not let it go.
I will die in this hill.
Oh, that's funny.
But they've tried like everything. I think the guy has like some kind of, I don't know if it's a VPN, but my Gage was saying like it's something that he can like get notified.
Oh, he can spoof it?
Or yeah, that's what it is. He can get notified when the gyms get under attack, so like he'll like buff his Pokemon so it doesn't get taken over. But then I guess Gage's friend changed his name to be something almost exactly the same as what the gym leader was. So like he didn't notice for a while.
Oh God. Just trolling this one guy. He's like, is that probably the only game he plays?
I would think so. I don't know.
People get weird.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
We're all a little weird though.
What are some ideas you want to expand and bring the world to life and bring, I guess, let people in more, or like expand the brand or expand the Mushlings? What are some of your ideas?
I mean, I definitely want to do more animations. Just the only problem is they take so long to make. Like, if I want to get an animation done, I probably, if I'm working on it, it usually takes like 20 to 30 hours even for like, I mean, I think I'm getting a lot quicker. It depends on what I'm animating, but like the ones that have like the full backgrounds and it's like more, I guess, like a cinematic animation, like it almost like you took it from like a clip of a movie, like those take a really long time, even though they're just like 5 seconds. But I would love to do more of those. I actually have one in mind that I want to do, because like I'm trying to find, like, if I hear a sound on like TikTok or just like either a song or just a sound, I want to I save them for future reference of what I want to animate to it. So I was actually hoping like either this week or next week to come up with like a new animation because there was like just like a cute little piano song that I heard. I'm like, I could make, I like kind of just like an image popped in my mind of like a mushling in like a flowery field. And I'm like, I want to do that. So I kind of just take my inspiration from everyday things, I guess. Whatever is interested in me.
Everyday things.
I don't know. Like, if I'm playing a video game, I'll want to draw like based on that, like the Elden Ring animation. I'm like, my weekend was consumed by Elden Ring, so I'm like, let me draw a mushling playing Elden Ring and dying.
Over and over and over.
When's the book coming out? Storybook.
I don't know if I'm
What
gonna
kind of book?
the children's book I get like that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually like
One of her early ideas was to make a children's book.
right.
Yeah.
So like that I wanted to do like all watercolor paintings for, and I feel like it might evolve into something else because I do really want to make like a mushling field guide, like or a mushroom field guide basically, but mushlings. So I think once I finish the art for Mycelium, I'll start doing that.
Ooh, name drop.
Mycelium.
What's Mycelium?
I don't know.
It is a mushling board
Actually, I
game.
don't think Chris knows. Chris has never.
No, you told me about
I've told you about it.
it.
For all the viewers, Mycelium, the new mushling board game based on how mushrooms kind of exist in a forest. That's what we kind of
Yeah, no, Mike was telling me a little bit about you working on it with Eric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the mastermind.
The mastermind.
Yes.
How do you even go about creating a board game?
I don't even know. Like, that's something I could never do. Like, but he's so good at it. Like, he has so many like cool ideas for a bunch of different games. And but like he's kind of similar to me in the sense like I draw what I want to have on my wall, and he's making games that he wants to play that don't exist. So I think like that's why they're so much fun. Even like in the early stages when the rules are kind of broken, we're like, this idea seems so good. And Mycelium kind of worked out from the start. Like we haven't made many changes at all, which is like very rare in the board game design process. I mean, he could tell you more about it because like I'm just kind of he'll ramble to me about what's going on, and I'm like, that sounds good, but then we'll play test it, and it works out really well. But like this game kind of came about. We're like, we want to make a mushling game because I have like the following to help it get started on Kickstarter, and we think it can get really big if it was good. So like we're like, how do mushrooms, what do they do? Like what do they do in nature?
That's what I was gonna ask. All right.
And so I was like, well, there's like a mycelium network underneath where how they like communicate and like bring nutrients around. Like trees will use mycelium networks to transfer nutrients throughout the forest, and that's kind of like the basis of the game is you're trying to get nutrients from the different trees back to your, I guess, like your mushling kingdom, like your player tree, and like the first to get 10 nutrients. I haven't played in a while.
Is it kind of like a team-based thing, or is it like strictly like one person?
So it's one person.
Other? Okay.
Yeah. But you can like there's like battling, like you're expanding your mushroom network, your mycelium network, like by placing paths. You're trying to get to different locations on the board.
Okay, I see it.
A little bit like Catan is like the closest like.
Yeah, but then there's like a lot of added elements that make it like pretty different too.
Yeah, no,
it's cool.
That's wild. I can't even fathom trying to come up with something that like people would enjoy like playing as an activity. That's like I've next level.
I think I've played it twice. I think Abby's probably played it a lot with Eric, and then you guys actually went down to Philly to play it too.
Yeah, play test.
Yeah, what was that about? It was some kind of convention or something?
Yeah, it was a board. It's like PAX Unplugged, so it's I guess one of the biggest board game conventions in the United States.
Wow.
And so we're like, yeah, first we were gonna go just to see what it was like and see what the booths are like, and then we saw it was $15 for a table to play test your game for the day or for a couple hours, and we're like, why not try it? And Mycelium's ready for some play testing. And then we went down and played. It was a lot of fun. We had like 3 groups come in and play with us, and they all really liked it. Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
And you had somebody recognized
cool.
Abi Toads.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was so
Let's
cool.
go. That must have been so fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was so for some reason like I get so nervous about like I'll be honest, like I threw up like 6 times before we even like no anybody even came to the table.
Oh
Like
my
I'm like, why am I
God.
nervous? I'm not like I want to do art shows and have booths, but I'm like dreading what like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I want to
No, I
meet
get it.
people,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
for some reason my body's like, you don't want to do this right now.
I think that's one of the things is like once you get into it, it's fine. But
Yeah,
it's like
but
the
the-
anticipation
yeah.
of it is like a weird thing.
Yeah, once people were there, I was like completely
Oh yeah,
fine.
once
but
you're vibing, you're vibing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I
Even,
feel, I feel kind of the same way with our stuff with like presenting films to people and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Is like, oh, what are people going to think? But then once you start talking about it, when us, I'm sure you're the same way. Talking about the things that you love to do, effortless,
Mhm.
absolutely effortless. Talking with people, but it's the anticipation is like, what are people going to think? You know?
Yeah.
Don't watch it now. Watch it when you go home when I'm not here.
Yeah.
Oh, did we hear anything about festivals yet?
No, I think the first one is the first two are in April.
Okay, cool.
The first two to let us know are in April for Mancow.
We submitted
Ooh.
to 10 festivals for Mancow.
Amazing.
See what happens.
Yeah, they happen throughout the whole year for the most part. Actually, I think
Yeah. I knew that some of them were long timelines, but I figured it.
Is there a best soundtrack or like a best like original score?
We didn't submit any for that, no. But
we joked about that. I think actually.
yeah, we did. We
Yeah.
did.
Should have.
We
We
actually
still
should,
can.
we actually should put the song because we have Omega. Chris wrote the soundtrack to Omega, one of our lightsaber duels, a long time ago. That soundtrack exists on a YouTube video. You can listen to the soundtrack. We should do that for Mancow.
OTS, yeah.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, why not?
I like the
Mancow
song.
video soundtrack. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I
We had so much fun writing.
probably put it on Spotify too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gearing up to put all my music on Spotify soon.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I've always written, I've probably written like 25 like original songs in my life, of which half I think are good. You know, like the struggles of, oh my God, I was actually just listening to some of my old tracks
Mhm.
that were like, the lyrics are so bad. But, yeah, some of my recent stuff I'm like actually super happy with. So I'm
That's
like,
so cool.
put it on Spotify, see who listens, and just have it there for like ever, hopefully. You
Use
know?
it in a TikTok. I'm trying to find something to.
Well, the last two songs that Chris showed me are really good and vastly different. One's a ukulele, more upbeat, boppy thing, and the other one, the other song you showed me, I was like, is that even Chris? I didn't know it was Chris's voice.
He
It's
didn't
very
believe
country.
that
I
it
didn't
was me
believe it was
singing.
him.
Oh wow.
It's a country song.
It's more like country-ish, yeah. It's interesting. That's kind of my vibe too. I mean, you probably put, because I have another song that's like almost has like electronic vibes. So I like just experimenting with like everything. So it's gonna be kind of an eclectic album, and also the album would have songs I've written 5 years ago and songs I wrote like last month. So it's like the vibes are kind of all over the place, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
Because it's like each song's a little different, you know.
So exciting. I took a music theory class and I love music and I love playing music, but I could never ever write a song. Like I don't know how people do it. It's just like another level of like genius.
Well, so you know what I found out is, so I mean it's a cliche, but for me it's just so true. So the first song I ever wrote that I really liked was about heartbreak, right? It's because something that everyone kind of goes through, and the song is a way for you to express what you feel. And so I came up with some really good lines, and I was like, oh man, this is like actually a pretty good song because I think it's like relatable. And then for a while, I couldn't come up with anything. Like I hadn't written a song in like 2 years. Guess when the next song I wrote, which is the one you heard, was about this new relationship that I'm in the midst of like, it's like, it's so weird. And for me, and I think for a lot of people, it's like you express what's going on in your life through your music, and that's just how it comes out. Like all of a sudden it just starts pouring out of you, and it's it's interesting.
Okay, so Abby, if you murdered Jackie, I'll have heartbreak, and that way I can be a famous
Yeah.
musician.
Yeah.
It's what she would want.
That's what you would want.
God rest her soul.
At least I'll have Mo.
Oh, well, if you want to give us both heartbreak,
Jesus Christ.
Is that what you mean?
You'll thank me later.
Is that what you meant?
When you're a famous artist. Because you're dog talk. Jackie, don't listen to this episode.
Yeah, don't listen to this part. Or we would turn into John Wick. Oh, then we come
Right.
for you.
Oh man.
Come for you and your whole family.
Do you guys make yourself cry? Do you think?
I think it has to be on the mindset. I'm pretty sure I like can talk about certain things that will make me cry.
There you go. All right. Well, that's one way to do it, right?
Mhm.
I can make Abi cry. That's what you're asking.
Just cut it off there. That's how the episode ends.
Don't worry, I can make her cry.
Do you want to see?
I want to know. I'm curious.
Well, I don't know. I'm on the spot. I'm being filmed right now.
That'd be weird, but
I feel like beforehand.
What is it?
There's a story, not a story, but there's an old man that lives across the street from my parents that if I talk about him too much,
What?
it'll make Abi cry.
I don't understand any of
Just
this.
walks so slow to the mailbox, and he's all alone.
He lives alone in his house. His wife used to live there, but she got too ill to
She got too.
she couldn't
Dead?
she couldn't walk up the stairs a few times. I had to go over there a few times and like help pick her up from falling and stuff. But now she lives in a home,
Right.
and he's there completely by himself. His kids visit him sometimes, but he used to go for walks all the time, but he can't anymore, I don't think. But he does go get his mail. And he's really old. He's always very nice. He always waves to us, but his wife isn't doing so well. Actually, I think she might have passed away.
Here come the tears.
Now, it's not only does he live alone, but he's completely alone.
I made him a Christmas card last year because I felt bad. I'm like, well, I'm making Christmas
that's
cards,
nice of
and
you.
then I start crying because I think about how he's alone, and I'm like, I should make him one too. I'm like, he doesn't know me,
you're
but
right.
it's okay.
This is the yeah. That's the secret weapon. If we ever need to make you cry for some reason,
Old people.
if the world depended on it.
I'm good, thank you.
Eat the goldfish. No, I'm just fucking with you.
I just got it out of my teeth, so I don't want to eat it.
Until you make it. Sponsored by Goldfish.
The snack that smells
When
bad.
you're yeah, they already have a slogan. I forgot.
They already have a look.
100% real cheddar.
They already have like one of the most like popular slogans in the world, and here I am trying to come up with something off the hand. Sell by 2022.
Oh, that's okay. That's sure.
Oh, I actually forgot what year it was. Sell by August 10th. Wait, January, February, March, sell by the one before August 10th.
July.
July?
We did it. We know the months.
Listen, I still can't do that like offhand. Like what
You have to
number is
count?
what month?
Really?
It just never comes up that often.
How do you write your dates on paper?
I don't know what day it is today.
No, but do you write month, day, year?
Yeah, I'm not European.
Right.
Gosh.
I hope not.
Wait, what's your point though?
You don't know the numbers that are associated with the month?
No, I mean, I know some of them, but like the middle ones are weird.
You know when you were born? Okay, I'll give you.
I can get like 1 through 3 and 9 through 12. But the rest is just
So like
I don't
4,
know.
5, 6, 7 kind of throw you off?
Exactly.
Mm.
All right. I guess, okay, that's fair. Do you have anyone that you know whose birthday's in May? Because that's how I know May, because Eric's born in May.
But I mean, probably. I see. I don't know many people's birthdays.
Oh, well, that's.
Just like I don't remember people's eye colors. Like I don't have a good memory for that.
I don't really
stuff.
remember people's eye colors.
Do you remember? What's your opinion on this? We were talking about this the other day.
I can remember eye colors pretty easily because I feel like that's like one of the first things I
swear to
noticed
God,
about people.
I dated this girl a while ago for 2 years, and I couldn't have told you her eye color.
Eric can't tell you my eye color, but
Okay,
only because he does. Oh, he jokes that they're green, but I don't know if he knows they're blue.
Is he colorblind?
they're-
Oh, that'd be a hell of a color blindness.
I don't know, they're blue, but he always says they're green, and we like we joke about it. But they're blue, but they have like yellow around like the pupil, so it's like if you mix them together, then
Yeah.
it would
Do you
be
think
green.
if you said brown, what percentage of the time right would you be? Because isn't it like half of eye color is like brown or something?
Blue is the recessive gene. I know that.
Yeah, blue's pretty on the rarer side, right?
Isn't it? I feel like it's like
50% or, like-
3/4 of people have like brown eyes. I'm not sure if that's true.
Yeah.
It seems right though, because yeah.
This is why we need somebody who's not on the show so that they can look up these things.
Tell us if we're right or wrong. Like who invented Pokemon?
Right. No, it's just interesting. Like, I don't remember small details like that. It's weird.
Eric needs glasses though, so
Does he?
yeah, no, he does. He won't admit it. No, actually, he will admit it. He admits it. He doesn't want to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been on a seaplane?
Is it the ones that go take off and land on water? Right?
Yeah, so I was just on one for the first time when I went on this trip, which actually we have to fucking talk about.
Yeah, we didn't
trip.
talk about
Oh my
Maldives.
god, I completely forgot. We teased it on the last episode, and then I never talked about it.
Talked about it.
But anyway, before we get into that, full disclosure, I went to the Maldives for 2 weeks. I just got back like last week, which seems crazy. I can't believe it's over already. But I went there for work. I was shooting stuff with the resort. I went with a crew of about 10 other people, and we were shooting all kinds of stuff for the social media page for the resort there in the Maldives. And I'm fine with airplanes and everything like that, but when I found out I had to go on a seaplane, which is like a seating 10 people, I've never been on a plane that small before, so I was like mildly like, okay, this is gonna be like maybe a little strange. I hope it's not too rough of a ride, if it's like a bumpy or whatever. And what I learned is that I don't know if it was just like the weather conditions being like absolutely perfect, but it's the smoothest airplane I've ever been on.
So cool.
Really?
Taking off, landing, you barely felt it. It felt smoother than a regular airplane.
It's so weird. I guess because the water isn't hard.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't. I was ready for it.
I would think you come in
And then I didn't even tell. I was like, wait, we're down already? Like it was over before you knew it. And taking off too was so cool.
How fast does it feel?
It feels like you're going really fucking fast when you're about to take off. Like doing it for the first time, I was like gripping my seat a little bit, like ready for like
Is
the
it
pull.
Closed? Like, is it like closed? Because helicopters
fully
have like
closed.
open doors, right? Or some do,
I
or
guess
is that
some
just
do,
in
but no,
movies?
this is just fully closed,
Okay.
Yeah. And then the pilots actually was so funny. I was up in the front seat, so I could see like right into the pilots and all their stuff, which was cool.
They were like, "Hey, you want to fly?"
And I wish. And then I looked down, and the pilot, he had sandals on, but he wasn't wearing the sandals. He was flying barefoot. And I was like, man, these are some island people, What was my other? Oh, my other favorite story to tell. I actually forgot to tell people this because it was like the second night. The first island I went to was this tiny, tiny little island called Vila Reef. You could walk the outside of the island. You could walk the circumference of the island in 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So tiny.
You could walk the whole thing. It's so weird. Like, you're like, how does this not get covered by ocean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like the second night we're there or something, and I wanted to shoot the moonrise because I timed it out. The moonrise was going to happen at like midnight. So you're going to be able to see. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Our friend has a 300 mil lens I was going to pop on and get the moon like super huge. But so I go back to our villa or whatever, which is like right next to the water, absolutely gorgeous. And I pop out in the sand, but I could see in the distance it's cloudy. So I was like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to shoot the moon tonight. So I was looking and seeing if I could see any peak of the moon coming out. When all of a sudden I noticed on the ground, like these little specks. They looked like glowing rocks. And I was all confused. I thought I was seeing things. And like these rocks were like strangely glowing. So I go back into Ryan. I go, well, there's no moon, but there's these weird fucking glowing rocks on the beach. You want to come check it out? And he goes, what did you just say? He looks at me I was like, rocks glowing for some reason. And he goes, you see them. You see that he's on a work call. He throws his phone onto the bed, completely ignoring the work call, and runs out to me. It was fucking bioluminescent algae.
Yeah.
So cool.
And we go out, and slowly more and more are coming on.
So cool.
And
doesn't it light up when you like
you
touch
splash the water? They all light up.
Wow, that's so cool.
And so I texted the group with like our 10 other people there. Some people are on the other side of the island, and they weren't over there.
It's only a 10-minute walk.
So they all came rushing over, And we found this one section where there were, I mean, not quite thousands, but hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, so all of a sudden we all turned into 3-year-olds where we're all splashing the water and we're trying to film it. Like you were saying, do you have footage of it? And they're so dim that it's honestly hard to be picked up by a camera, even though there's like so many of them around. So it really is just something with the naked eye that's like easier to see. But apparently, it was a rare time of year for this to happen.
Oh, wow.
So like we kind of like got lucky, I guess.
That's so cool.
I don't know. It was just one of those like little magical things where if I didn't go out to try and see the moon, like we would have never saw it. And we never saw them again. They weren't at any of the other islands.
It's really cool.
So that is my fun little magical story.
Wow.
From the Maldives.
Bioluminescent stuff is just like crazy that we're so lucky that we even get like fireflies by us, and like I feel like there's a lot more like each year I see less and less of them, but it's just like so crazy that like an animal adapted to glow, like, and we see that like that's something that could easily not exist, and we would just have it in like sci-fi movies or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fact that we get them like in our backyard is just unbelievable.
They are going extinct in a way. I remember back in the day when you used to drive your car at night and you'd come home, your front grille in the front of your car would be covered in dead bugs. Your windshield would be covered in dead bugs. Your whole front would be covered in dead bugs if you drove around at night. If you drive around at night today, nothing. You don't get that. It has something to do with like the way, like we are killing off like different species of insects.
Everything?
Yeah.
Everything that isn't humans, because humans suck.
Is it because we're killing the planet? I wonder.
Forget exactly what is causing it, but we are like, I don't know if it's like just the pollutants or things that we're using to bug repellent stuff, but we're destroying this population of insects, fireflies included. There used to be way more. Like when I was a kid, and you go into the backyard, especially our backyard at my parents' house, like oh my god, the whole backyard is like a sea.
I mean, there's like a specific like mating season though too. Like if you go to like the Vernon Boardwalk, we went one night because it was like midnight or like 1 a.m. and it had just rained, so like it was like really like misty and the air was really humid, and we're like, oh, let's go on the boardwalk. Let's just go hiking in the middle of the night. No, it's fine. So we're like walking though, and we get to one section of the boardwalk where it's like just like this, you're on the boardwalk and it's like all the swamp, but there was like a single tree in the middle of the swamp, and there were thousands of fireflies. I've never seen so many in my life, and like it looked like almost like a time lapse of like a city at night, how like all the lights kind of move, but they were like all around and like moving up the tree, and it looked like it was like some kind of like light show or something. Like it was so cool.
Is it mating season? Is like a giant orgy?
Yeah, that's basically giant. It's beautiful though. The most beautiful thing you'll ever see is a firefly orgy.
I've seen a lot of orgies, so I'll
Sounds pretty electric.
Hey.
It wasn't even like, close. Because they don't, I mean, it's not really electricity, but it's close enough.
My mom used to murder fireflies.
We talked about this on the show, remember?
Oh, did we talk about this?
My mom did the same thing. Where they would squish them.
Yeah, she'd squish them and draw. My mom would draw with them.
Let's kill animals and use their blood for fucking, like...
for art.
For very, very temporary art.
Yeah.
You looking
Do you guys want to play a game?
I like games.
I know you like games. All right, well, I'll leave it up to Ab.
Oh man.
Do you want me to try and find some pieces of paper so that we can sketch Pokemon? Or do you want to play the lightning round game that we haven't done in a while?
Oh, that's
So what game?
The lightning round game is
Question
where
game.
I ask. Well, we take turns and we ask each other questions, and we have to give an answer as quick as possible, no matter how fast.
Let's do that.
For the audio, it'd probably be more
I do.
fun.
I would love. I like drawing, but
We can do both. We can do both. We'll do next time you're on the show. We'll do drawing.
Mhm.
All right, let me get up the.
Well, eventually we'll have Eric on the show for
That's right.
Yes.
when Mycelium goes on Kickstarter.
I can't wait. I have so much more art to do, but I'm excited.
Yeah, you have a lot of art to do.
It's like because like I feel like the characters are a big part, and I think for the backgrounds of the cards, I can like make one big background image and like use it for like 3 or 4 different ones. Like I'm thinking like the wizards will have their own background, and kind of like it'll fit you'll know you have a wizard card because that like it'll have that kind of color scheme.
Did you design the back of the cards yet too? Or you didn't get there yet?
Nope. But the back of cards, it's like one backing or two backings.
But the board itself, because I'm sure the board is going to be super detailed and intricate. Because if it's anything like, what's the inspiration game with the animals? Root.
Yeah, I mean, Root actually, they kind of like, I don't know, you can't have it too complicated because then it's like too much on the board. So like, I'm like looking at Root for inspiration, and then also Photosynthesis, which is like a game about trees. So I'm like, I just need something like, it's got to look like a forest floor almost. Like,
okay.
So, all right.
Our lightning round.
100 questions to ask kids.
Oh, okay.
This is good.
That's good.
I'm a child,
more
please.
Innocent,
yeah. Number 1, Abby, what is love?
What?
It's feeling at home with a person.
Incorrect. Number 2, what scares you?
Oh, clowns.
What is happiness?
These are so like deep for her.
What is?
I know.
Is happiness something that? I can't say brings you joy. Like
it makes me happy.
What is what? Mike, how would you describe God?
He's the big man upstairs.
What? Why is that number 3?
That's what I would ask. That's what I ask kids every day. Describe God.
That's the only time I say to kids. I don't know how to talk to children.
If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, mind reading.
What's the best way to make someone smile?
To laugh.
If you're an inventor, what would you invent?
An inventor. A teleporter.
If you could make up a holiday, what would it be?
Double Christmas.
Does it matter if a person lies?
It depends on the situation, I think.
Yeah. If you would only have one wish, what would it be?
To wish. All right, here we go. I've always thought about this question. It's to wish to be like Goku from Dragon Ball Z.
All right, let's let Ab ask some questions.
All right. If you discovered a new planet, what would you name it?
Perennis. The penis in Uranus.
Chris, what is your favorite thing that we do together as a family?
Pumpkin picking.
I gotta skip this year. That's sad.
Michael, what type of home do you want to live in when you grow up?
One with doors.
That's a fair point. Chris, if you had a date with mom, dad, what would you do together?
What the fuck does that mean?
This is what I ask. That's what I ask children. Would you, if you wanted to date your parents?
Oh God.
Michael, if a friend wanted to give up on something he's been working hard on, how would you motivate him to keep going?
Slap
him.
Nice. I reached the bottom of the list. I didn't ask them all.
All right.
I was skimming them.
Man, the questions today, they were like, some of them were hard hitting.
What is love?
I want you to ask questions to ask kids. What is love?
I really don't know how do you describe what is happiness.
Your God for me.
God to be.
How would you date your dad?
Describe your God. What are your questions to ask before marriage? Nah, I think we're done. I think we're good. I think I'm done with questions. Except, what does this mean? What? I don't think they used the right word. What values do you want to install in your children? I think it's instill, right?
Not my children. Not robots.
To your robot kids.
I'm reading this right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what values do you want to install in your children's hard drives?
My parents installed me with art.
Antivirus, McAfee, antivirus.
All right, I'm done. That's the end.
We can end with a...
Abby, where can people find out more about you and your artwork?
Find me on Instagram, Abi.Toads. Find me on TikTok, Abi Toads. You find me on Etsy, Abi Toads.
Where can I buy one
You
of these?
can
sick
find me at my
sweatshirts?
house. Not really, but please
Oh,
don't.
you can come to my house, but don't do
but
that.
I wouldn't
ever.
like that. My dog would probably bark at you. uh, that's about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Where can I
What?
buy your sweatshirts?
Yeah.
I got a Bonfire account, and I also have. They're on Etsy. Bonfire. There's slightly different variations of the shirts, but I figure I'll have both and offer both options because why not?
What exciting thing do you have upcoming that is like a secret project you can't tell us about? What's coming out soon?
I'm bad at secrets, but I think I've already. I don't think I've had any. I don't think I've had any secrets that nobody knows about. But I guess I've had a lot of questions about Mushling plushies, so
Oh,
there could be another one in the works, folks.
Ooh.
Yay.
We'll see.
I can't wait to get mine.
Yeah, there should be.
Hey,
For those who did order, they're coming in May. Hopefully,
Yeah.
that's the
Man,
plan.
I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna put it right on that shelf over there, right behind you,
Ooh, that'd be
right next
cute.
to the liquor.
Good spot.
Yeah, actually, I don't have an alcoholic Mushling yet.
Oh, you could do like a pirate mushling who's like just drunk all the time.
Yeah, peg leg. Have you done? One?
I have one with a.
Yeah,
peg
I
leg,
thought you might
actually,
have. Yeah.
Or just or like a raging alcoholic who like is rich,
Yeah.
beer gut, the wife beater, the
Everyone-
stains everywhere, and just sad existence of a mushling.
Terrible.
But the other ones will.
Be better.
They'll be there for him.
Yeah, his other mushling buddies would be there for him, but not his ex-wife.
Yeah, I mean, for his family, he'd literally be better off dead.
6 feet under. Down in the mycelium network.
No, the mushrooms live thousands of years. They're not like regular mushrooms.
That sounds bad for his ex-wife.
So that's the new character you're gonna work on for
All
us.
right.
These are the stories you can create and find at Abi Toads. Create your own mushling.
Oh yeah, you could do like
That'd
a
be
Build a
cute, like
Bear
a-
workshop
yeah.
for
Oh yeah, build a bear.
build a mushling.
Build a mush.
Well, cheers to that, dude.
Yeah.
Cheers to.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the
I'm
show.
honored. It's cool.
Thanks.
Just slowly fades out into silence, and then the music comes.